At home, the core question is whether a northern-rooted government can fix Britain's railways.
The engine driving everything is a crisis of authority.
The void of course planets say the sky won't push this forward. People. On August 20th, 2026, Andy Burnham dials Tokyo from Manchester. It's his first major conversation with Japan's Prime Minister, Takaichi, a call landing at a critical moment for his young premiership. Burnham, former mayor of Greater Manchester, rode a wave of northern discontent into Downing Street, now number 10 north, above a Manchester cocktail bar. He's squeezed from two directions. At home, the core question is whether a northern-rooted government can fix Britain's railways. His party is restless, markets have reacted to his economic plans, and Labour's old guard watches closely. Abroad, this call to Tokyo is about forging a durable trade and security partnership, giving Britain a Pacific foothold. Both fronts are complicated by the North Sea, an oil basin in decline, seen by Donald Trump as drill, Burnham, drill, but which Burnham's base once shut down. This call to Japan happens inside that vice. A quick note, we have birth dates for Burnham, January 7th, 1970, and Takaichi, March 15th, 1961, but no birth times. So, we'll focus on planetary signs and aspects. The event chart for the call is fully timed, offering the most insight. The moment. The chart for August 20th, 2026, noon, in Manchester, opens with Libra rising. This sets a tone of partnership and diplomacy. The midheaven, representing a government's public standing, is in Leo, the sign of leadership, with the Sun and Jupiter also in Leo, near this midheaven. The moment highlights Burnham as Prime Minister, judged by his collaborations. The Moon, tracking public mood, is in Sagittarius. This suggests a national leaning toward foreign horizons, long-distance trade, and optimism, fitting a first call to Japan. However, a quincunx to Chiron, a point of old wounds, means this optimism isn't simple. Britain's global standing has been challenged. The public is ready to look outward, but cautiously. 8 days before this call, on August 12th, a total solar eclipse at 20 degrees Leo reset the leadership landscape. Eclipses expose what's hidden. This one, in the same sign as the midheaven and near the Sun and Jupiter, means questions of who leads and how are unavoidable. For Burnham, leading from Manchester, the eclipse reveals his leadership rather than simply boosting it. The chart's south node, with Regulus, the royal star, grants success conditionally. Leadership is on display, but scrutiny for potential arrogance is high. Yet, the timing carries a strange restraint. Both the Sun and Mercury are void of course in Leo. They won't make major new connections before changing signs. The Sun moves into Virgo on August 23rd, Mercury on August 25th. This means matters of identity and direction, the Sun, and communications, Mercury, will coast, not accelerate. The call sets a tone, but concrete action awaits their shift into Virgo, a sign of practical service. Symbolic groundwork will become real when the focus shifts from who leads to what gets built. 3 slow planets are retrograde: Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, and Pluto in Aquarius. Retrograde motion turns a planet's energy inward for review. Saturn retrograde demands a reckoning with old structures. Neptune retrograde questions ideals. Pluto retrograde deepens hidden transformation. For a new government, this suggests testing foundations before ambitious rollouts. Both the rail promise and the Japan opening will first be audited for their underlying strength. Beneath it all, a Neptune-Pluto sextile, exact on July 25th and still tight, is a deep, ongoing current. This rare 492-year cycle, in play since 2016, describes a period where deep power structures, Pluto, and collective ideals, oil, and the sea, Neptune, are in an uneasy conversation. The North Sea oil question perfectly reflects this. The dream of energy independence, clashing with declining reserves and political pressure. The Barbault Cyclic Index, measuring global tension, reads 857.9 on August 20th. This is in an easier range, meaning the world isn't in a high-tension phase. Diplomatic openings are received more receptively. Finally, a stellium, Jupiter, Mercury, and the Sun, clustered in Leo from August 9th to 23rd, concentrates attention, money, and debate on leadership and national identity. This period is keenly about who is in charge and how they use authority. When the Sun leaves Leo on August 23rd, this intense focus shifts to Virgo's domain: practical service, infrastructure, and the unglamorous work of making things function. What it touches. A critical transit for the UK's 1801 Union chart is Saturn sitting precisely on the nation's true node and opposing its south node. The nodes describe a country's path: where it's been, the south node, and where it's going, the true node. Saturn, the planet of structures, pressing on the true node means the nation's direction is being tested by its own institutions. For Burnham's rail promise, this is precise. The challenge isn't the desire to fix railways, but whether existing machinery, the Treasury, the Department for Transport, can deliver under financial constraint. It's about whether the 742 to Manchester runs on time, proving capability under pressure. Jupiter squaring the UK's Mars adds friction. Jupiter means expansion. Mars is the nation's drive. Their challenging aspect suggests the government's growth agenda will confront the nation's productive capacity or impatience. This highlights the tension between ambition and capability, which markets have already noticed. The embodied energy chart between Burnham and the UK shows their governing dynamic. Burnham's energy is responsive, connecting distinct areas through external relationships. The UK's design is for guidance and recognition, operating through divided channels. Together, they form capacities neither holds alone: a channel to turn doubt into decisions, and one to direct resources with purpose. This combines Burnham's experience with the nation's ability to fund. Crucially, neither carries fixed will energy, the conviction-driven force that inspires through vision. This partnership earns authority by getting things done, working in the workshop, not on the podium. The Labour Party's chart faces pressure. Neptune squaring the party's Saturn means its established structures are challenged by a dissolving or idealizing force. Jupiter opposing the party's moon indicates the party's emotional base is challenged by the government's expansionist agenda. Burnham's personal chart also shows tensions with his party. His Sun squares the party's Venus, creating friction between his identity and their values. His Uranus, signifying innovation, makes an awkward adjustment, quincunx, to the party's Sun, highlighting a clash between his mold-breaking impulse and their sense of self. Yet, his Jupiter sextiles the party's Saturn, suggesting his growth can support the party's structural needs if he collaborates. Managing the parliamentary party won't be easy, but tools for cooperation exist. The Bradley Siderograph, a market mood curve, shows a reading of 3.71 on the event date, nearing a trough. It peaked at 12.336 days prior and is heading lower. This means market sentiment was more receptive before the call and is cooling now. Any economic signal from the call lands in a softening mood. While not a rejection, it trends up by September 1st. The immediate reception will be muted. The call's impact will be more about what it sets up for the weeks ahead, not same-day market enthusiasm. Japan's 1947 constitution chart is also under Jupiter pressure. Transiting Jupiter squares Japan's Sun, challenging its national identity, and conjoins its Pluto, aligning growth with deeper transformation. Japan isn't a passive partner. It's in its own period of redefinition. The synastry between Burnham and Japan is striking. His Chiron, wounds and repair, makes harmonious aspects, trines and sextiles, to Japan's Saturn and nodes, suggesting his political experience resonates with Japan's structural memory and direction. His Uranus, reform, conjoins Japan's Neptune, meaning his innovation meets Japan's imagination. His moon trines Japan's Sun, indicating emotional resonance. However, his Jupiter squares Japan's Saturn, meaning his growth agenda will challenge Japan's established structures. The opening is real, but the structural negotiation will be firm. Takaichi's chart catches the transiting Sun in a difficult aspect, quincunx, to her Saturn and opposing her Mercury. This suggests she's under a leadership spotlight, perhaps in a way that doesn't entirely align with her sense of order or comfort. The synastry between Burnham and Takaichi shows deep alignment. His Pluto trines her Saturn, a connection of deep power and structural authority that enables frank conversations. His Neptune sextiles her Jupiter, creating common ground between his idealism and her growth instincts. But his Mercury squares her Venus, indicating their communications and values may need translation, and his Lilith quincunxes her Chiron, a minor note of unspoken tensions touching old wounds. Personal chemistry, though functional, isn't entirely frictionless. The Trump dimension is the uninvited guest. The North Sea oil basin is a totem for Trump, and transiting Mars, squaring his natal Neptune on the call date, is a precise signature. Mars is action, Neptune is oil and ideology. This aspect perfectly describes the aggressive energy policy Trump represents. The drill, Burnham drill pressure. Burnham and Trump's synastry is sharp. Burnham's Uranus, innovation, squares Trump's Mercury, creating friction between his different approach to politics and Trump's thinking. His Sun squares Trump's Jupiter, meaning his identity clashes with Trump's expansionist instinct. The North Sea question, though not settled by this call, is a live wire throughout Burnham's month. Looking at Burnham's chart through a vitality lens for the body politic reveals a dominant Earth temperament, a national mood grounded in steady, practical energy. The risk is that competence can become complacency. Air, representing reflection, is least resourced, meaning feelings and action might overshadow perspective. Key areas of sensitivity are Scorpio for elimination, Capricorn for structure, and Pisces for drainage. The 6th house, governing daily services and national upkeep, infrastructure, is heavily occupied by Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto, all ruled by Mercury. This means national infrastructure is where most energy and strain are concentrated. The rail network isn't a metaphor, it's the literal 6th house, heavily loaded. How it rolls forward. The first shift comes within days. On August 23rd, the Sun enters Virgo, the sign of practical service and systems. Mercury follows on August 25th. The void of course window closes, and the leadership drama of the Leo stellium gives way to concrete implementation. For the rail promise, focus shifts from Burnham's intent to timetables and treasury spreadsheets. For the Japan call, diplomatic words meet trade negotiators. The Virgo ingress signals a shift to the toolbox. On August 28th, a partial lunar eclipse at 4 degrees 51 minutes Pisces brings illumination and culmination. Pisces is the sign of the sea and dissolution. For the North Sea oil question, this is pointed. An eclipse in Pisces suggests a revelation or forced clarity about the energy picture, declining reserves, political pressure, economic realities. Eclipse mark when hidden things surface. This Pisces eclipse, near the Neptune-Pluto sextiles theme of oil and deep power, suggests late August is when the oil question moves from background noise to a decision point. 3 days later, on August 31st, Jupiter trines Saturn, the most important forward-looking signature. This marks a harmonious phase in the political-economic cycle that began in 2020. Growth and structure are in flow. The last time this exact trine fell in these signs, Leo and Aries, was July 1967, a year of geopolitical realignment. This echo, as Britain reimagines trade from Manchester, is meaningful. For Burnham, this trine, 11 days after the Japan call, suggests a window of structural support for what the call initiated in early September. The Bradley Siderograph also peaks on September 1st. The window is real but narrow. The September and October lunations, new and full moons, for Manchester outline a diplomatic opportunity, followed by dissipation. The full moon on September 26th, at 3 degrees 37 minutes Aries, places Jupiter, planet of expansion, on Manchester's descendant, the partnership angle. The new moon on October 10th, at 17 degrees 22 minutes Libra, brings Jupiter back to the same point, even tighter. 2 consecutive lunations with Jupiter on the city's partnership axis clearly indicate a genuine opening for the UK-Japan relationship to take concrete shape in late September and early October. This is the window for follow-up, a second call, a working group, a trade delegation. However, the full moon on October 26th at 2 degrees 46 minutes Taurus places Neptune, planet of illusion, on Manchester's descendant. This suggests the early October partnership opportunity could be followed by confusion or dissipation in late October. Venus retrograding into Libra on October 25th reinforces this, bringing diplomacy under review. What seemed solid might need re-examination. The UK-Japan opening is a season, and the chart indicates it has a peak and a fade. Throughout this period, Mars remains in Cancer, where it entered on August 11th. Cancer represents the homeland. Mars here signifies industry, unrest, and domestic friction. This placement, running alongside diplomatic efforts, means domestic pressure won't ease just because the Prime Minister called Tokyo. Rail unions, restless backbenchers, and households watching energy prices will continue to exert pressure. The North Sea question, drill or don't drill, Trump's totem or Burnham's headache, is also a Mars in Cancer issue. Domestic energy supply, jobs on rigs, and fuel prices. None of this resolves with a phone call. And beneath it all, the Neptune-Pluto sextile, a 492-year cycle in orb since 2016, reasserts itself with a second exact pass on September 16th. This deep, slow current describes the ongoing conversation between collective dreams, Neptune, and deep structural power, Pluto. The North Sea oil, the Pacific Partnership, the rail network, all operate within this larger tide. It doesn't cause these events, but it colors the entire period with deep, slow transformation that outlasts a phone call, a premiership, and a news cycle. Recent history and where this is heading. This high-stakes diplomatic gamble is merely a symptom of a broader, structural reckoning currently sweeping across the globe. For Britain, the weight of Saturn pressing on the UK's true node means the rail promise faces a real audit, while for Japan, the same slow focus cycle demands rigorous internal renovation before any borders are fully opened. The pattern is clear. The world is moving from projection of power to practical necessity. As the coming weeks unfold, the true bridge will not be struck by hype, but by the upcoming Jupiter trine Saturn in late August. This energetic marker, the grand mitigation, signals a period when the fog of speculation lifts and the focus turns to what actually works. This climate encourages legitimate construction over hollow deals. The symbolism suggests it will take real, methodical effort to convert this political optimism into a reality that Britain can afford, eventually aided by the press and commerce entering Libra in September. Summary. The chart for Burnham's first call to Takaichi describes a leader's stage: Libra rising for partnership, Leo at the midheaven for authority, a Sagittarius moon reaching outward, set inside a period that tests foundations before it rewards ambition, rail delivery under fiscal constraint, Saturn transiting the UK's true node tests whether institutions can deliver on the rail promise, market reception cooling, then easing, the Bradley Siderograph trough on August 22nd and recovery to 8.2 by September 1st frames how the call's economic signal is received. UK-Japan diplomatic opening in late September and early October. Jupiter on Manchester's descendant at the September 26th full moon and October 10th new moon opens a window for concrete follow-up. Risk of partnership dissipation by late October. Neptune on Manchester's descendant at the October 26th full moon suggests potential confusion or drift in foreign relations. North Sea oil pressure reaching ahead. The Pisces lunar eclipse on August 28th and the Mars-Neptune square to Trump's chart signals forced clarity on the energy question. Domestic unrest sustained through autumn. Mars in Cancer from August 11th signals continued industrial and political friction at home, unrelieved by the Japan call. The phone call to Tokyo plants a flag in fertile but audited ground. What grows from it will be decided in the weeks between the Jupiter trine Saturn on August 31st and the Neptune-descended full moon of October 26th. Before you go, you look at that line from Manchester to Tokyo and you see a leader holding two ends of a rope while trying to nail it to a wall. It's not a game, is it? If you want to know if this alliance is strong enough to actually pay the bills, our business partnership compatibility reading gives you the cold, hard breakdown of where the dollars go and where the tension lives, stripping away the spin. And if you're wondering what the actual grind looks like under this administration, especially with that railway promise on the line, our work/career path spread will tell you exactly what stands between policy and reality. Neither of these requires you to trust a fortune teller. They just lay out the mechanics of the situation. A word from the channel. If you appreciate the blunt look at the facts, please tap subscribe and tap that like button. Every little bit helps keep this channel growing. Let me know what story you're watching unfold in the comments. I'll hand you over to Sienna, who is taking this same story to the cards.
Hi there, and a huge warm welcome. I'm Sienna, and I'm so glad you found your way here. It's lovely to meet you. What a fascinating moment to look at, and a massive thank you to Tom for that deep and brilliant chart reading. He's really set the stage. Now, let's take this story to the cards and see what they reveal about the connections at play. 1. First party, Andy Burnham. Death. This is a profound, necessary change for Burnham. The death card isn't about an ending, but a transformation, a complete shedding of his old identity as a regional mayor. He's stepping into the role of prime minister, a total rebirth of purpose. It's fitting for a leader whose premiership breaks tradition, governing from Manchester instead of London. 2. Second party, Sanae Takaichi. 2 of Cups. For Japan's leader, this is about a desire for sincere partnership. The 2 of Cups signifies mutual respect, harmony, and the beginning of a promising connection. Takaichi approaches this call with an open heart, genuinely interested in forging a bond and seeing what a new creative alliance with Britain could yield. 3. Third party, United Kingdom. Justice. The UK itself stands at a point of reckoning. The Justice card means a need for balance, fairness, and facing consequences of past decisions. The nation weighs the cost of ambitions, like new trade deals and infrastructure, against its current reality, demanding any new path be built on a solid, equitable foundation. 4. First and second, Burnham and Takaichi. 9 of Cups. The current between them is one of initial satisfaction and goodwill. The 9 of Cups is the wish card, indicating this first conversation will likely feel like a success, a toast to a promising future. Both leaders are pleased with the connection they've made and the potential they see. 5. Second and third, Takaichi and UK. Judgment. This is a call to a higher purpose. Judgment signifies a moment of truth and a powerful awakening. For Japan and the UK, this relationship isn't just a simple trade deal. It's a strategic reevaluation. Both nations are answering a call to step into a new, transformed role on the world stage, rising to meet a bigger geopolitical moment. 6. First and third, Burnham and UK. 4 of Cups. There's a palpable sense of weariness and discontent here. The 4 of Cups shows Burnham feeling disconnected from the nation he leads, perhaps overwhelmed by its immense challenges. The UK offers him responsibility, but he may be too focused on problems to see opportunities, creating a strain. 7. The heart of the web, the Emperor, reversed. The engine driving everything is a crisis of authority. The Emperor reversed reveals that established power structures are unstable, questioned, or ineffective. This isn't about one leader, but the entire system. The very foundations of government and international diplomacy are under review, creating a vacuum that makes every move precarious and every new alliance vital. 8. Where the web turns, 8 of Pentacles. The dynamic will develop through meticulous, hard work. The Eight of Pentacles is the card of the dedicated apprentice, focusing on skill and craft. This points away from grand speeches and toward the unglamorous grind of negotiations, detailed policy work, and carefully building the framework for this partnership, piece by piece, to see if it can truly hold. A word from the channel. Thank you for staying with me through this collective story and the cards. Because this is a young channel still finding its audience, a like or a new subscriber genuinely helps us grow. Please leave a comment with what you would like to see covered next, or any thoughts you have on how I can help you. Take care and goodbye.
Thank you, Sienna. You've laid the cards on the table. Let me pull the chart back underneath them. What has been is a man shaped by northern discontent who rose into something he calls Number 10 North, a Manchester cocktail bar Downing Street. The solar eclipse at 20 degrees Leo didn't boost Andy Burnham's authority, it revealed it. The South Node beside Regulus grants success, but conditionally, and with scrutiny for arrogance. He stands where leadership should peak, and it doesn't. The Emperor reversed sits at the heart of this web. The binding force is unsettled power, wobbling structure, and death, his own card, tells us he knows it. Old identity ending, new one not yet formed. The void of course Sun and Mercury echo this. He coasts, he doesn't accelerate. What is happening now is genuine opening on both sides. Sine Takaichi enters this moment, shaped by 3 retrograde slow planets, turning energy inward, questioning ideals before new structures rise. Saturn retrograde in Aries demands a reckoning with what exists, not a fresh start, but an audit of foundations. Yet the Two of Cups places her authentically open to partnership, meeting Burnham's overture with real reciprocity. The Nine of Cups running between them carries genuine warmth. Here's where chart and cards diverge. The Nine of Cups promises fulfillment, but void of course Mercury insists this call coasts rather than accelerates, tone without traction. What develops is the Eight of Pentacles, patient, incremental craft. The Rail promise, the Japan opening, both require painstaking work, not charisma, and the Sun's shift into Virgo agrees. Meanwhile, justice marks the third party's position, a structural truth demanding balance, and judgment running between Takaichi and that third party signals a reckoning still unfolding. Her receptive Barbault index suggests she meets it with openness, but retrograde Neptune says the questioning of ideals isn't finished. The Four of Cups between Burnham and the third party marks his disconnect. What's offered there, he won't accept. What to expect is unglamorous, deliberate work. The Eight of Pentacles at the turning point says as much. The void of course planets say the sky won't push this forward. People will. The warmth between Manchester and Tokyo is real. The traction is not. What happens next turns on human decisions, not the heavens. If you appreciate the blunt look at the facts, please tap subscribe and tap that like button. Every little bit helps keep this channel growing. Let me know what story you're watching unfold in the comments.